Hey, I'm Roland with MobileGeeks.com and .de, and what we have right here today is the EVGA Tegra Note 7. So this is basically one of the Nvidia Tegra Notes. It's the one made by EVGA, so that's the one available in Germany and a couple of other countries in Europe. It is also available in the US, but coming from different other OEMs that Nvidia is working with. It's basically always the same tablet. HP has one, for example, and a bunch of other companies also do these devices like Gigabyte and a bunch of others. It's basically always the same device made by Nvidia or by a contract manufacturer for Nvidia, branded under the different brand names of their retail partners. It's based on the Nvidia Tegra 4 1.8 gigahertz ARM Cortex A15 quad-core SoC that has an additional power-saving core for times when you are not taxing the device with anything that you do. It's basically for standby and to keep everything running without wasting any battery. You have a 7-inch screen in here, 1280 by 800 only. It's an IPS screen, definitely decent viewing angles and stuff. But let's get started unboxing the device. So that's pretty quickly done. You just lift up the top right here, and that's the tablet right there. Let's get it out of its box, put it to the side. You can see it's just a basic 7-inch tablet. Form factor wise, you get this quick start guide, which is basically a huge poster containing for example, the specs plus a bunch of other stuff telling you about the stuff that's on the tablet itself and what's in the box, plus a couple of hints towards how to start using the device after you bought it. Down here you get these two combined boxes in this packaging. So in here there's basically just, in this case, the EU power adapter. It's a 2 amp power supply, so that should charge the 4100 milliampere hour battery pretty quickly. Standard USB port right here, so you can also charge other devices with this. It's not the most compact power adapter, but it should definitely do what it's supposed to. On this side, there's basically not much else except for this micro USB 2.0 cable, just a standard cable to connect this device to your charger or the PC to actually copy stuff on and off of it. Let's put the boxes to the side and get to the tablet itself. So it comes in this foil right here. There used to be a plastic cover on the screen, but I already removed that in the German video. So here you go. That's the EVGA Tegra Note 7 from EVGA and Nvidia. I'm just going to quickly turn it on. Oh, I already turned it on. So as you can see right here, we are dealing with a pretty basic Android experience. Not much has changed from what you already know from other KitKat devices, and in this case it is already KitKat, although on the box it still says Jelly Bean. But Nvidia has pretty quickly started out rolling out the update to Android 4.4 KitKat, so we can just quickly check this out in the settings menu. Go down here, about tablet, and they can see it's Android 4.4.2 KitKat. So you're already up to date on this. Let's take a quick look around the device. We have a 7-inch screen, as I said, 1280 by 800 IPS panel. So if I start moving it around like this, you'll see that the viewing angles are pretty much all right. It's not the best screen, actually. It has a couple of issues regarding brightness. It's not the brightest, and also the sharpness is not amazing, but that's what's to expect from a 1280 by 800 resolution. Overall, it's definitely a decent screen. You'll not notice any difference towards other devices with same resolution. Up here we have I think that is just a VGA webcam, maybe 1 megapixel. There's a huge speaker bar on top of the device, and on the bottom you get another big speaker bar. No capacitive touch buttons on here, but just the standard on-screen buttons. The borders around the screen are pretty wide. Nowadays we're starting to get used to smaller bezels, but it's still definitely mid-range sizes right here. The device is 9.6 millimeters thick and weighs in at 320 grams, so that's also pretty average. On this side there's pretty much nothing except for this plastic lip. They have obviously a couple of quality issues here because there's like between the different parts of the device, there might be some differences in the distances between the parts when they're clicked together, but that's probably just a quality issue on this early production model. On the top side, you get a micro HDMI out. This is the micro USB 2.0 port, 3.5 millimeter headset jack, plus the on and off button. On the right, you have a micro SD card slot, so you can actually extend the capacity of the onboard 16 gigs of flash memory. There's 1 gig of RAM only in here. Could have been more, but Nvidia probably wanted to stay at its low price point because this device is actually retailing for just $200. Right next to that is the volume rocker, and on the bottom of the device you have actually this looks like a speaker outlet, so it might be just another outlet for the speaker that's on this side. And down here you get this special thing right there. That's the stylus actually. But I'll get to that in a second, because first I want to show you the back of the device. Up here we have a 5 megapixel camera that has constant HDR enabled, so it's always taking HDR pictures, which is supposed to heighten image quality overall. From the back you can already see that this is actually geared towards gaming or younger users. That's why they chose this kind of like gamified, or this is what Alienware devices used to look like, right? So up here we have just the EVGA or OEM logo overall. This is always the same on here. It says Tegra Note. It's got this kind of dotted back that you might know from the Asus Nexus 7 of the first generation. Down here, easy to tell, Nvidia Tegra 4 logo or Tegra logo overall. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Definitely a decent device, feels pretty good. The speed is amazing because the Tegra 4 is doing a good job keeping those games running. We've tested it with a bunch of benchmarks and games, and performance is definitely totally fine with me so far. Let me just quickly get out the stylus. Let me just first find it. It's down here on the right. And as soon as you drag out or pull out the stylus, you'll actually get this NVIDIA Direct Stylus Launcher launched. So you get a choice of just a note-taking app, so that's called Write, and you're just gonna my name right here, Roland. It's basically taking notes at the same width of the stylus, or like the tip is always staying the same width. This is not a digitizer on here or anything, but NVIDIA is doing something pretty smart with the stylus, since they're giving it the ability, if you rotate it, you'll see that the tip actually is getting thinner or wider. So that's actually pretty useful in the drawing app, which is the second app that NVIDIA is putting in here. Let me just undo a bunch of these things from the German video so I can show you how this tip actually works. So depending on how you hold the tip of the device, you'll actually have different line widths in here. So I'm just going to use the smallest configuration. Just going to start drawing like this, and as soon as you start pressing a bit harder, or you turn the tip to the side, it actually gets wide just with a brush, just like with a brush you're used to from analog painting. Let's just call it that. And as you can see, you'll get wide lines or narrow lines depending on how you hold this. So that's actually a pretty good idea on the stylus side, to be able to do different line widths without investing into a expensive digitizer or an active stylus. So yeah, that's pretty much it on the Nvidia Tegra Note 7, in this case from EVGA, and I was rolling with Mobile Geeks. Check it out. See you later.